I've got this voicemail saved on my phone. Been there for 3 months now. Can't listen to it anymore, but I also can't delete it, you know? It's her voice, breathless and excited, saying things about my dad that no son should ever hear. Look, I need to go back a bit, because you need to understand how perfect everything seemed before. Like, genuinely perfect. My dad had just gone through this brutal divorce, maybe 6 months before all this happened, and man, he was destroyed. I'm talking about a guy who raised me to be strong, to never show weakness, and suddenly he's crying at my kitchen table at 2 a.m. because he can't sleep alone anymore. So obviously, I told him to move into our guest room. Temporarily, you know? Just until he got back on his feet. My girlfriend. Let's call her Lisa. She was amazing about it. Like, beyond amazing. She'd bring him coffee in the morning, ask about his day, include him in everything we did. The three of us started this tradition of cooking Sunday dinners together. Dad would tell these old stories about teaching me to fish when I was 7, and Lisa would laugh in that way that made her whole face light up. She told me once, while we were doing dishes, and Dad was on the couch watching TV, she said, "Your dad is like the father I never had." Her own dad had left when she was young, so I don't know, I thought it was beautiful that she was connecting with him like that. There was this one weekend I took her to my childhood lake, the same spot where Dad taught me to cast a line. I taught her to fish there, and she was terrible at it. We laughed so hard her sides hurt. She caught exactly 0 fish, but hooked my jacket twice and got tangled in some branches. It was perfect, you know? That kind of perfect where you think, yeah, this is my forever person. This is my family. Dad would always tell me how lucky I was, how I'd found a real gem. He'd say, "Don't screw this up, son," and slap me on the back. I remember noticing, okay, this is weird, but I noticed she started wearing this different perfume, kind of vanilla and jasmine. I didn't think much of it until Dad mentioned once, casually, that his ex-wife used to wear something that smelled exactly like that. He got this weird look on his face when he said it. I should have paid attention to that. But everything was good. Everything was so good, until it wasn't. I came home early one Tuesday, and the house was too quiet, you know? That kind of quiet that feels wrong. Both cars were in the driveway. Dad's truck, her sedan, both there. I called out when I walked in. Nothing. Called again. The kitchen was normal. Too normal, maybe. Her phone was on the counter, screen down. She never left her phone anywhere. Like, this woman checked her phone every 5 minutes. It was practically attached to her hand. And next to it, Dad's reading glasses, just sitting there. I heard something upstairs. Movement. Footsteps, maybe. I called out again, louder this time. "Hey, anyone home?" Long pause, too long. Then her voice kind of muffled. "Yeah, just a second." They both came down separately. First her, then him like 2 minutes later. Too casual, both of them. But she was wearing completely different clothes than she'd had on that morning. I'd kissed her goodbye in a blue sweater, and now she was in a black t-shirt I'd never seen before. When I mentioned I came home early, Dad said he'd been taking a nap. Lisa said she'd been sorting through boxes in the spare room. Okay. Weird, but okay. Except then I started noticing things. Little things at first. They'd laugh at jokes I wasn't part of. Inside jokes, I guess. Dad would volunteer to drive her places when I was busy. "Oh, I need to go to Target anyway," he'd say. "I'll take her." I found his jacket in my car once. Lisa said she'd borrowed it the day before when they'd gone to grab lunch together. Which was fine. Totally fine. Why wouldn't it be fine? Her phone was always face down now. Every single time she put it down, screen down. Dad suddenly started going to the gym. My dad, who I'd never seen do voluntary exercise in my entire life, was suddenly going to the gym at 6 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. Lisa did grocery shopping those exact same nights. "The store is less crowded in the evening," she said. I started feeling crazy, like genuinely insane. I'd catch myself watching them, looking for, I don't know what. Proof? Of what? That my girlfriend and my father were... No way. I was paranoid, working too hard, stressed about the promotion I was going for at work. That's what I told myself. That's what I needed to believe, but then I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I did something. I'm not proud of it, but I had to know. I faked a business trip, told Lisa on Wednesday that I had to leave Thursday morning, wouldn't be back until Saturday. Watched her face. She seemed normal. Maybe a flicker of something in her eyes, but probably just my imagination. I told Dad separately, later that night. His reaction was different. He got this look, just for a second. Then he said, "Oh, I might visit my brother that weekend then. Haven't seen him in a while." My uncle lives 4 hours away. Dad hadn't mentioned wanting to visit him once in the 6 months he'd been staying with us. Thursday morning I left. Suitcase, goodbye kiss, the whole thing. But I didn't go anywhere except a Holiday Inn 20 minutes away. Checked in under my own name. Sat on that terrible hotel bed with the scratchy comforter and thought about what I was doing. Planning my own heartbreak. Setting a trap for the 2 people I loved most. Thursday evening I parked down the street from my own house, far enough they wouldn't see my car if they looked out, close enough I could see everything. Dad's truck never left. The lights were on in the living room around 7 p.m. Then around 9, the lights in our bedroom came on. Our bedroom. I sat there for 5 hours, just sitting in my car in the dark, hands shaking, feeling like I was going to throw up. I couldn't make myself go in. Couldn't make myself walk up to my own front door and see whatever I was going to see. I left around 2 a.m., drove around until the sun came up, went back to the hotel. Friday. I did something else. Installed one of those doorbell cameras remotely, the kind you can watch from your phone. Did it from the hotel room while they were both out doing whatever they were doing. Took maybe 20 minutes to set up. Then I waited. Dad came back first. Around 6 p.m. had grocery bags. I watched him on my phone screen, this tiny figure on this tiny screen, unlocking my front door with the key I'd given him because he was my father, and I trusted him. Lisa's car pulled up 10 minutes later. The way they stood in the doorway. Well, they stood too close. Not touching, but the space between them was wrong. Too familiar. She laughed at something he said. He put his hand on the small of her back, just for a second guiding her inside. The camera couldn't see past the entryway, but I could imagine. Oh man. I could imagine everything. And that was worse somehow. The not knowing, but also knowing. The space where my brain filled in every horrible detail. I couldn't watch anymore. Turned off my phone. Stared at the hotel ceiling for hours. Saturday came. I went home like nothing had happened. Like I'd actually been on a business trip. They were both there, both normal. Dad was reading the newspaper. Lisa was making coffee. They asked about my trip. I said it was fine, productive. We sat there having breakfast like a normal family, and I snapped. "I know," I said, just like that, no build-up. "I know something's going on." Dad looked at me with these confused eyes. "What are you talking about, son?" "But Lisa..." Yeah, Lisa looked terrified. For just a second, pure fear on her face before she controlled it. "You're scaring me," she said. "What's wrong?" "I came home Tuesday," I said. "You were both here, both cars, no one answering. Then you came downstairs in different clothes." Dad set down his coffee. "You think because your father took a nap and your girlfriend changed her shirt, what exactly are you accusing us of?" He said it so reasonably, so calmly, like I was the crazy one. "Son," he continued, "you're working too hard. You seem stressed. This promotion is getting to you." And Lisa, she touched my arm, all concerned. "Baby, maybe you should talk to someone. This paranoia isn't healthy." I doubted everything in that moment. Everything. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe I was seeing patterns that weren't there. Maybe that night I couldn't sleep. Lisa was in the shower. Her phone was on the nightstand. I'd never looked through her phone before. Never had a reason to. I picked it up. Messages were deleted. Recent calls cleared. But I kept looking, and I found it. This encrypted photo app, hidden in a folder labeled Recipes. And there they were. Photos. Not from last week or last month. From 8 months ago. Her and Dad at a restaurant, sitting on the same side of the booth, his arm around her. The date stamp said it was a Friday night. I remembered that night. She told me she was visiting her sister upstate. Another photo. Them at some park I didn't recognize. His hand in her hair. Another. Going back and back and back. Before Dad's divorce. Before he moved in. Before everything I thought was real. My dad didn't leave his wife because he was unhappy. He left her for Lisa. For my Lisa. And when he moved into our guest room, I wasn't helping my broken father. I was the obstacle they were waiting out. The inconvenience they had to work around until... What? Until they figured out how to tell me? Or until they just kept doing this forever? Every family dinner, every Sunday cooking together, every moment I thought we were building something beautiful. Lies. All of it. I printed one photo. Just one. Them at that restaurant. Clearly a date. 9 months ago. Put it in my pocket. Waited until morning. Dad came downstairs first, like always. Started making coffee. Lisa came down a few minutes later in my old college t-shirt that she wore as pajamas. I put the photo on the kitchen counter. Didn't say anything. Just waited. Lisa saw it first. Her face went through this journey. Confusion, then recognition, then fear, then relief? Like she was tired of hiding. She looked at Dad. Dad looked at the photo, then at me, then back at the photo. Nobody spoke. I swear it felt like an hour. Just this awful silence filling up the kitchen, getting heavier and heavier until I thought I'd suffocate from it. Dad started. "We didn't want..." "It just happened," Lisa interrupted. "It just happened. Like they tripped and fell into bed together. Multiple times. For months." "When did it start?" I asked. My voice sounded weird. Calm. Too calm. "It started when you first introduced us," Dad finally said. "At that barbecue, remember? 2 years ago." 2 years. 2 entire years. "Just texting at first," Lisa added, like that made it better. "Just talking. Your dad understood things about me that you didn't. My marriage was already over," Dad said. "It had been over for years." "But it wasn't," I said. "Not until you decided it was. Not until you wanted her." They didn't deny it. "We tried to stop," Lisa whispered. "Multiple times we tried." But they didn't stop. Every holiday, every birthday, every time I'd look across the dinner table and see the 2 people I loved most smiling at me, lying to my face. Dad slept in the room right next to ours. He could hear everything. Every night Lisa and I were together, he was right there, 15 feet away, waiting his turn. I felt sick. "Why?" I asked Dad. Just that one word. He looked at me, and I swear this is the moment that broke something in me permanently. He said, "She understands me in a way your mother never did." Not an apology. Not an acknowledgement of what he'd destroyed. Just his happiness, his needs, his feelings. Like I wasn't even his son anymore. just an obstacle in his love story. "Did you ever love me?" I asked Lisa. The pause was so long I actually counted the seconds. 12 seconds of silence. "I did," she finally said. "I do, but it's different with him." "Different how?" She couldn't answer, or wouldn't. Just stood there crying those wrong tears. Dad put his hand on her shoulder. Protective, possessive, on her, in my kitchen, in my life. "Get out," I said. "Both of you, now." They packed some things. Not everything. Just enough. And they left together, in Dad's truck, because of course they did. Why would she go separately? Why would they pretend anymore? I stood in my house, my empty house, and walked through the room seeing everything differently. The couch where we'd watch movies every Friday night. All three of us. How many times had they touched when I wasn't looking? How many secret glances had I missed? The guest room where Dad slept. Except, did he always sleep there? How many nights had he waited for me to fall asleep and then... Our bedroom. My bedroom. Was it ever really ours? Mom called later that day. Dad had told her first. She was crying, apologizing like she'd been part of it somehow, like she should have known, should have stopped it. "He destroyed 2 families, she said through tears. "Ours and yours." I hadn't thought about it that way, but she was right. I saw them around town about a month later. Small city, hard to avoid people. They were at a coffee shop, holding hands across the table. She saw me. Our eyes met for just a second. She looked away fast, said something to Dad. He didn't even turn around, didn't even notice I was there. They looked happy. That's the part that haunts me. They looked genuinely actually happy. I still have that voicemail. Never listened to it again after that first time, but it's still there in my saved messages. Sometimes I think about, well, what if I'd heard it sooner, or later, or never? Would they still be doing it? Would I still be happy in the lie? My therapist asks what I miss most, and honestly, I miss my dad. Not the real one, the one I thought he was. That guy would have helped me through this heartbreak, would have told me I deserved better, that I'd find someone else. That time heals everything. That guy would have taken me fishing and let me be angry and held me when I broke down. But he is the heartbreak, and I don't think I'll ever get him back. Either of them. Or maybe... okay. Maybe I never had them at all. Maybe that version of Dad, the one who loved me more than anything, who'd never hurt me. Maybe he never existed. Maybe Lisa, the one who'd grow old with me, who chose me. Maybe she was never real either. Maybe I've been mourning ghosts this whole time. People who only existed in my head. And that's somehow worse than losing them, because you can't get closure from people who were never really there.